Marily, can you please make sir as a host? It is done. It is done. Now you can start.
Good morning, participant. I'm going to welcome again for the second day Dr. H. Anil Kumar Memorial International Webinar to all of you. The speaker of the second day Dr. H. Anil Kumar Memorial International Webinar is Dr. Ramesh Gaur. He is an international acclaimed alliance professional. Dr. Ramesh C. Gaur is presently Dean and Director, Library Information and Head Kalanidhi Division, Indira Gandhi National Center for Arts, New Delhi, Ministry of Culture. Prior to this, he worked as a librarian 2011 to 2018 at University Jawaharlal Nehru University. His past assignments include Tata Institute of Fundamental Research, CRI, PSIR, RIS, New Delhi, Management Development Institute, MDI, Gurgaon, and IMT Ghaziabad. Professor Gaur has visited 24 countries and he is a Fulbright Virginia Tech USA and a scholar, and he has been honored and 14 awards in the recognition to his exemplary work. Dr. Ramesh Gaur is the first Indian nominated as the member of International Advisory Board, IAC, UNESCO Memory of the World Program. He is also member of Expert Consultation Committee for setting up of International Center for Documentary Heritage in South Korea. He is the member of many other important national and international professional bodies. Important affiliation includes member Governing Council and Philipnet, member of Research Council RC for CSIR, National Institute of Science, Communication and Information Resources, NISCARE, New Delhi, formerly known as INSDOC, member of International Consultative Committee on Digital and China, and Board of Director, member governing body, Shahid Sukhdev Singh College of Business Study, University of Delhi, member of UGC Draft Regulation Committee of Plagiarism Regulation 2018, expert member of IFLA Program Advisory Committee on Global Cultural Heritage and various other committees of International Federation of Library Association, IFLA, member of Data BIB Advisory Board, USA. Last but not least, I am quoting that librarians have the power to transform not only individuals' lives, but entire community. And I must say that Dr. Ramesh Gaur sir has the power to transform the entire alliance fraternity. With these words, now I request Dr. Ramesh Gaur sir to please start the session. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Rajesh. My voice is clear. So let me just share my screen and then I will start my presentation. So hope all you can see my PPT very well. Rajesh, can you confirm? Can you see my PPT?
Yes, sir. We can see. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah.
So thank you, Rajesh. Thank you, Inmatec, for giving me this honor to be part of this very important international webinar. I'm grateful to Rajesh and director and other authorities of Inmatec for organizing this very important webinar in honor of one of my colleague, my dear friend, Mr. Dr. H. Anil Kumar. He is no more with us. But as a dynamic librarian, he has left a legacy, a kind of impact on this library profession. And his memories will always live with us. And the wonderful work he has done at IIM Ahmedabad and also in Manlimnet will be remembered by all. This is something, a great loss to the profession. So my heartfelt tributes to Anil and I express my sincere condolences to his family and friends, that we will try to work for his fulfillment of his dreams and desire and continue to take forward this librarianship forward. So the topic which I'm going to speak is reskilling and upskilling of librarians for development of smart libraries in digital age. Basically, Rajesh has already introduced me. When we talk about reskilling and skilling, upskilling in any profession, the most important thing we should know that in any profession, change is inevitable. And according to the change, every profession has to upgrade and update themselves in terms of technological innovations, in terms of various kind of change in environment, various kind of legislation, rules, regulations, and also the demand of the society. I remember Shiv Khera's one saying that leaders do not do different things, they do things differently. But here I would like to begin my talk by making little change in that particular statement. I would like to say leaders do different things also, and also they do things differently. I remember, if I quote certain experiences from my life, I started talking about the re-engineering of libraries in 1998 when I was working as a chief librarian of IMT Ghaziabad. Nobody at that time even discussed this issue in libraries. And now after that, everybody start talking about re-engineering of libraries. The first time when I joined Indira Gandhi National Center for the Arts in 2004, I started talking about digital preservation of cultural heritage and digital preservation of various kind of electronic resources, both print as digitized as well as born digital. That time nobody talks in India about digital preservation. When I joined Jawaharlal Nehru University in 2011, the first time I introduced and talked about plagiarism and role of libraries in creating an awareness about the plagiarism. That's the first time any librarian in India talked about this issue. And rest is now history. In every university, every college, every research institute, and now every librarian is speaking on this topic. When I start talking about various kind of new things, I did it first time. I may be the pioneer in introducing a number of new concepts in this librarianship. So this is the one example that you need out-of-box thinking. Generally, we people are very strong believer of following the path shown by the people. We try to follow the rule book or various kind of guidelines and policies laid down. We never try to think over, is there any changes required in those current practices and policies and guidelines? So I think this is the topic of my today's talk, like how important is this understanding the changes required in this environment. So let me begin with first, what are the most important skills needed for a librarian, or a smart librarian, or even any kind of librarian? A librarian need to have some kind of administrative skill to manage the library, because library is an organization within the organization. It has several functions of human resource development, of budgeting, finance, customer skills, or marketing and promotion, and all kind of issues which an organization is having. That's why library is called an organization within organization. Interpersonal skills are very important to deal with various kind of communication requirement, customer skills. Without that, because library is a personalized service, you are always in direct contact with the customer. So you have to understand that you always need skills to how to deal with your customers. ICT skill, information communication technology skills. See, over last 20 years or maybe 30 years, the librarianship has totally changed. Now it is 80% technology and 20% traditional librarianship. So this, every librarian has to have ICT skills, general management skills, assessment and evaluation skills. It is important that as a librarian, you should know how to assess the information you are providing to your user is not a fake information, not a disinformation, not a misinformation. So that assessment of needs, assessment of the quality of information, assessment of relevancy, assessment of the timeliness, all these assessment and evaluation skills are needed for a librarian. Leadership skill, librarian has to be a good leader because a large team works under him. So he need to be a new generation library leader. How to plan your things for future or for the current scenario. How to deal with suddenly you got a pandemic like COVID-19. How to plan your services. How to present yourself. How to present your library needs. How to present your team. How to present your resources to the customers, to the authorities. How to promote your resources. You may be subscribing a large number of databases, but if your users are not aware of that, how you are going to promote it? The information evaluation, information management skills, how to organize information in this digital age, online communication skill. It's very important to understand all online learning tools and technologies. The curriculum knowledge, like particularly for library information science teachers, there are two components of curriculum knowledge skills which I am talking here. One is for those library science teachers to understand the current needs of the librarianship to revise the syllabus accordingly. Another is as an academic librarian, when you are working in a management institute, suppose, you should know various good, what are the curriculum being taught in the marketing, on operation research, on strategic management or leadership, or on business ethics. You should know about it. When I was serving in IMT or FDI, I always used to discuss with the faculty various kind of course contents and how to identify good resources for those. Interlibrary integration skill. See, it is important that no library can sufficiently provide all the resources. They always depend upon other libraries. Instructional design, how to design a leaflet, a brochure, an information brochure about a new database, a new service. You have to have subject expertise. I remember when I joined IMT Ghaziabad, I don't know anything about management, or when I joined IGNCA, I don't know anything about cultural heritage. One expert asked me a question, what is difference between tangible and intangible cultural heritage? I say, I don't know it. But if you ask me that today, I can speak for hours on tangible and intangible cultural heritage. So you have to develop subject expertise in this is the one rare quality a librarian should have. Wherever you are working, you have to develop. Like I'm a science graduate. I'm a chemistry honors. But I have worked in finance or in automobile or in transportation, highway engineering, in science and technology, in art and culture, and in economy, international economics or management. I have worked in several organizations with different profile. But whenever I worked in an organization, I try to develop a kind of subject expertise in that area. I read a lot. I try to find out what is being taught, because if I know the subject of my organization, only then I can develop a good collection. Only then I can help a user. If I don't understand, let me tell you a story. I was working in a financial services company called Brisk Securities Limited. And I was part of equity research division. That time there was some kind of problem in that company. So they sent it out, all the equity research analysts from their division. We were 13 people, and out of that 12 were asked to leave. I was the only person left in that particular equity research division. Now that company used to bring out a newsletter, Brisk newsletter. That newsletter was supposed to be a forecasting for various kind of stock market and trading and other things. So the chairman asked me, no, you have to bring out this newsletter. We can't stop it. Now, I never studied management. I don't know anything about those blue chip company or stock. There was a lot of databases like Meta stock and Capita stock and all those things. So believe me, for 1 month I worked hard. I took help from those people who were left company and discussed with them. Next month, I am able to bring out that newsletter by putting all those parameters and things in place. I never used to be in that kind of subject earlier, but I learned it because my company required, my organization needs it. So subject expertise is very important. Reading is very important. Research skills. The librarian has to be a good researcher. Every time you need to research on one and other aspect. Decision support skill. You should be very strong in taking decision. You should be very, very fair in taking decision. You should be very, very, very firm in your decision making. So you need to have a good decision skill, support skills. Teaching skill. Librarian is a born teacher. By virtue of being a librarian, you have to be a teacher. And you should not forget, cataloging, indexing, classification are the backbone of this library profession. Google, what Google does simply indexing the entire web contents. That becomes the information of the masses. We start calling Google as one of the replacement of the librarian. But Google can never be a replacement for librarians because indexing in Google is done by a librarian. So Google works on the mind of brains of the librarian. It doesn't have its own brain. And new things like web publishing skills, or sorry, there's some typo errors, skills, marketing skills or business skills. So all these are the most important skills every librarian should have. And you need to really understand that without these skills, you cannot be a good librarian. So to become a good librarian, first of all, our library science teacher should understand these are the important skills needed. Then our librarians should understand that you need to possess these skills. So now, how to really to develop a smart library? You have to be a smart librarian. You have to be a very active, energetic, dynamic, and a good librarian with good modern leadership skills. Because you have to lead your subordinate, you have to lead yourself, you have to lead your boss, you have to lead your peers, you have to lead your customers, you have to lead any other components. So a librarian has to be a good leader. And all leaders are not born. Leaders can be made by good. For this, if you want to understand how to become a good leader, some of my talks are there on my YouTube channel. You can listen that. So first and important quality of a smart librarian is that you cannot work on a mindset 9-to-5 office jobs. You have to be a round-the-clock librarian, 24/7 librarian. Second important, you should understand your roles and responsibilities. First, you understand in this organization and also must understand whatever assigned to you is your responsibility. You should assess your strengths and weaknesses and try to improve your weaknesses. And what are the areas you need to upgrade yourself in technology, in leadership, in interpersonal communication, and other areas. You should understand your organization, its need, understand your team, who are the people working on with you, what are the resources available with you, what are the technology needs of your organization. Every technology need not to be implemented in your organization. Give you an example. When I was in JNU, we made a proposal for RFID implementation. So when we calculated the estimate, even tender was prepared, and we are supposed to, we advertised the tender also, and we got some proposals also. But when I analyzed the tender document and the responses, I found the cost was huge. And more than that, recurring cost of AMC and other things was quite an amount. Then I thought, like, instead of spending so much on RFID, I should invest that money on some other area of library resources, which is more important for my users. So I decided not to go for RFID. So every technology is not required for you. Understanding universe of subject information. It is very important for you to understand a subject, as I already covered in the last slide, and regular upskilling and reskilling. Whatever areas of new developments are taking place. And you should know about various kind of information literacy skills. You should know various kind of print and digital resources available in your collection. You should deal how to do the purchasing, various kind of government rules, GFR and other information required to be learned. You should know how to create institutional repository, how to create various kind of, how to organize digital libraries. And now focus is more on learning. It is digital learning, e-learning, virtual learning. So you have to be very expertise that how to enhance, how to inculcate learning in your organization to the customer. So these are some of the qualities for a modern librarian, or you call it a smart librarian. So everybody should think over it. Now let's begin the topic of discussion today. What is reskilling and upskilling? See, basically, what are these two words? So according to the Cambridge Dictionary, skilling and ability to do an activity or job well, especially because you have practiced it. And upskilling is the process of learning new skill or for teaching workers new skills. Reskilling is the process of learning new skills so you can do a different job, or of training people to do a different job. Upskilling involves training people but keeping them in the same roles rather than fundamentally changing their jobs. As technology and the digital landscape change, some jobs are going to become less relevant while others are going to suddenly become crucial. So reskilling is the process of learning new skills so you can do a different job, or teaching people to do a different job. So there are two things which I made in a statement in the thing, that leaders are those who do different things and also do things differently. So here I want to talk about that statement of Shiv Khera. I want to link that. So when leaders do different things, that is reskilling. And when leaders do things differently, that is upskilling. So hope you are clear now that reskilling is to gain some new skills to do something new. And upskilling is to do the current job in a better manner, in a smart manner. Like earlier we were using catalog cards. Started was register, then we have online OPAC, and now we have Mark 21 and BevOPAC. So this is reskilling, upskilling, sorry. This is upskilling, that we are upgrading from one technology to advanced level of technology to do we are doing the same job but doing it differently. You understand my point? Like earlier you were making catalog entry in the register, then you start making catalog cards, then you start putting into computer, earlier in the different format, now in Mark 21, and we are talking about RDF and indexing metadata and all those things. So the same job we are doing in a different manner. So that's upskilling. And now reskilling, like I talked about re-engineering of libraries. I talked about the plagiarism, role of librarians in plagiarism, even research data management, data curation. All these are the jobs, new skills required for the librarians. So that is reskilling. So how to reskill yourself? So I think I'm sure I have made it clear. There is kind of definitions of reskilling and upskilling to you. Now, what are the important areas of upskilling and reskilling? The most important thing in the library is the library spaces. So rethinking library spaces is the first important. Believe me, wherever I have worked, it may be IMT Ghaziabad, it may be MDI, it may be TIFR, it may be IGNCA, it may be GNU. Everywhere I have reorganized the spaces. I have recreated the spaces. I have redesigned the spaces. I have modernized the spaces. I have always worked on the spaces. I will show you some slides at JNU, what I did in JNU, but before that, I will tell you a story. When I was in MDI Gurgaon, Padam Shri late Dr. Pritam Singh was the director. So after my joining MDI Gurgaon, he called me, he said, Dr. God, I'm not happy with the presentation space in the library. I want it's more presentable and attractive. So can you do something? I can give you something about 10 lakh rupees to renovate the library. And that library was not a very old building. It was constructed in 80s only. And that was the 2004. I studied the entire library spaces and then make a plan. And after that, I contacted him and said, sir, I have a plan. And I need some support from the administration. I don't need 10 lakhs, but I need some support. And so then next 2 months, with the help of 30, 40 unskilled laborers and some contract staff, and I was doing a lot of dismantling of some cubicles, reorganization of the circulation space, reorganization of the stacks and everything. And next 2 months, I did a lot of changes in that. And after that, when library was opened, in the words of Dr. Pritam Singh, he said that I can't believe this is the same library which was there when you joined this. So this is the way a librarian has to think about the spaces. And these things I have done in each and every organization. Now, need to revise the philosophy and goals of resource acquisition in response to print on demand and e-access. We are in digital world. So what are the important resources required? See, people complain that users don't come to the library. Why they don't come to the library? Actually, we need to change our philosophy of acquisition of the library resources. Many of our librarians don't work hard. They don't, like when I joined JNU in 2011, not a single ebook was available in JNU library. And when I left it, there was lakhs of ebooks accessible to the users. So that is the way you have to change your philosophy or acquisition of resources according to the budget. You have to do various kind of budgeting, like you have a limited budget. So how to allocate the budget as per the needs of the departments so you have to make a policy, you have to make a collection development policy. So the collection development is the most important thing which you need to upskill yourself. Upskilling is very much required in this area. Then now, third important skill which needed is the knowledge navigator. knowledge navigation in this internet world. Everybody is fond of Google, but how many knows that Google does not index more than 15 to 20% web contents? So basically, how to become a good searcher first yourself, to find out what are the various kind of information resource discovery tools. So librarians need to both reskill and upskill themselves in the knowledge navigation, in the modern search technologies, modern search engines, information resource discovery. Then the recognition of the increasing use of mobile devices to find, browse, exchange information. So mobile technology is going to play a very important role. So how to develop services and facility to provide instant services, instant messaging to your users using mobile technology. That is something very, very important component, that how to reskill yourself in designing various kind of mobile app, various kind of mobile applications to serve your users. And also how to get funding through crowdfunding or other crowdsourcing or different ways to increase digitization or to be part of various collaborative projects. Research and data management, scholarly publishing, research and publication ethics, enhancing visibility and quality of research output. This is a very important area for academic libraries and research libraries. How to reskill yourself. I have given you an example like this. All I started in 2012, and now I am considered one of the most renowned expert on this area. How I develop myself, how I reskill myself, how I become part of various resources and facilities. So you need to be learn a lot of new reskills yourself in these areas. Social networking like Facebook, Twitter, blog, RSS feed, Insta, all that have become crucial component of our resource services. So how to integrate yourself with those resources? So you have to learn how to provide various kind of library services, promoting your collection, publicizing your resources, organizing programs and policies using social networking. And then literacy, information literacy, media literacy, e-research literacy are the most important part of your promotional drive. Education also, it is like how to educate your user. What is the fake information? What is predatory journals? What are the various kind of disinformation, misinformation? All these information literacy, media literacy, e-research literacy are very, very important. Now, another important component is how to learn about, reskill yourself about use of artificial intelligence. Deep learning, digital learning, e-learning has become MOOC and Moodles, all have become integral part of the library. The library is not considered an critical organization, crisis organization. It is not revenue generation organization. So how to work on this crowdsourcing and crowdfunding? These are the few things which somebody has to learn. And the modern academic library works on this scholarly common service area, where you have to think of all these data visualization, research support services, digitization support, scholarly communication, e-scholarship, digital scholarship. So all these things are the need of the hour for a librarian to learn. So this is something my suggestions and my things for various kind of skills and reskilling or upskilling required in various areas. Now let me give you certain, I share my experiences, like how to develop a smart libraries in this digital age. What are the changes one should think of? And I'm quoting examples so you can have better idea. In my talks, I always try to put things which are achievable, which are workable, which I have done. So if I have done it, Why you can't do it? I'm also a human being like you. So you have to really learn from these experiences. Whenever you join a library, now I don't have any intention of embracing people in this organization. I joined JNU in 2011. And see, this was the scenario in many places in the library. There were librarians, because JNU was established in 1970, and after 1989, there were several librarians, deputy librarians, in charge librarians, various kind of people worked in this organization. But nobody tried to thought of clearing this garbage. Why? Because we never give focus on library spaces. We never want to take hard steps. Now, one need to be innovative. One need to be creative. Now, see the comparison. This was the same space in 2011 where there's a bunch of, this is the Professor Sapori, is the Vice Chancellor standing with me. So this is the kind of space this was in 2011. And in 2013, I converted it into a beautiful stack area. But most of the librarians ignore it. They leave it that next person will come. So, and this is another example, like how reorganization would. See, I have done this in every organization. Not a single organization. Even in IMT, when I joined, there was books classified, some with the colon classification, some with. So these are the important areas one librarian has to really look into, make it presentable, make it library more organization. So whatever innovation is required, whatever reorganization is required. So this is the way lakhs of books in JNU were reorganized from one floor to another floor. See, this roof was full of the waste material. I sold this garbage using certain kind of good tendering system and earned 60 lakh rupees for JNU by selling this garbage which was lying for many years. So as a librarian, you need to be very, very innovative and creative. First focus should be how to create your library spaces, how to reorganize your collection according to the convenience of the user, how to weed out old obsolete books, how to throw out the garbage, and how to make reading more comfortable, more attractive. Like JNU was the first library where I provided this charging station in every seat. Like if you want to come with a live laptop, you should have a laptop charging point. You are coming with the mobile, you have a mobile charging point. So this is the way I created all those reading spaces. And when I left JNU, it was one of the most attractive, presentable library. 6-7 years, I worked so hard to make it a presentable. Even a firefighting system, even emergency exit was not there in that library. Nobody thought about it. There were so many librarians, including great librarians, founder librarians. But they never thought of having a firefighting system. I am able to install the firefighting system. I'm not able to complete the entire process of firefighting because some emergency exists, still need to be created. And I can guarantee you, after my leaving, not a single step has been taken forward in that direction. Whatever I have left, there were some books I left for weeding out, must be lying as it is. The firefighting system, the place I have left it, it must be there only. This is the problem with our librarians, because they don't think innovative. They are so lethargic in their attitude, and in many places, they don't want to take extra efforts. So my dear, until unless you make library presentable, until you make library convenient, reading spaces convenient to your user, you cannot expect librarians, users to appreciate you. You cannot expect that users should come to the library. So this is the first thing, is develop skill to recreate the library spaces. Now, another important thing is the convenience of the user. Whenever they want to come to the library should be open. So round the clock library. I'm a great fan or supporter of round the clock libraries. So you have to arrange facilities and services according to, and I have opened 3 libraries round the clock in my career. IMT Ghaziabad, the first one, I start experimenting. I made the first time IMT Ghaziabad library as a round the clock library. Then I did it in TIFR. Then I did it in JNU. So, see, you have to really provide library services according to the convenience. Another important thing, regular research and study of your existing collections. We subscribe a lot of databases. We subscribe a lot of resources, ebooks and other journals, but we never review it. Every year we should review our resources because we have a limited funds. How to best utilize, because you have to be a very good finance manager. You have to be a very good budgeting person. Now, I'll give you an example. What we did it in JNU. I asked Dr. Praveen Babbar, who was the deputy librarian, along with Shipra Tripathi, assistant librarian, that please study how many databases we are getting and how many journals we were subscribing. So we were subscribing about that time 44 print and online journals when I joined, and total 56 databases. So we did a survey that how many of the journals we are subscribing in a standalone model are already available in these databases. And after that survey, we found that large number of journals are already available in those databases. So every year I was doing a survey. So in first year we were having 1544 print journal. Next year we had dropped another 600. Then we dropped another 50. Then we dropped another 350. Then we dropped another 200 journals. So in the end, in 2014-15, we were left with 378 print online journals. But all these journals which were subscribed earlier were also available. But these were available in different databases. So the basis of that, every year we saved a lot of money. And we utilized that money. Like we saved about 1.2 crore. Because this 1.2 crore was spent in duplication of journals. So as a librarian, you have to be very alert and you have to do regular upgradation of all those things. Then, what is the new technology skills required? Remote access is very important. When I joined, even a Union Catalog, BaboPack was not available in JNU library. So first I implemented the BaboPack, and then I introduced this remote access to the JNU resources. And can you believe it? Students were so happy because earlier you cannot access anything beyond IP address, like in your hostel, in your classroom or in library. But after that, with this remote access, they were able to access it from anywhere, anytime. So this is the something, another skills you need to learn. There are open source tools. There are various kind of commercial services also available. So as a user librarian, you have to learn about these skills and you have to implement these skills in your library. Now, after this, another important thing is web scale discovery services. You subscribe a lot of number of databases, you have library catalog, you have institutional repository. So every time user has to go on different links. Now, how to save the time of the user? And this was the way I'm able to integrate all the JNU resources, and we would provide it anywhere, anytime access. So this is the Information resource discovery, web skill discovery is the another important technology which everybody should know. What is federated search, what is web skill search, what is discovery, what is information resource discovery. So these are the other skills every librarian must know. Every librarian should know, and that can make life of users very easy. Instead of going to different links, users can go to one single link and can search all the resources available in a library in a single window search system. Every library must have these kind of technology in place. And every librarian should know about this. And there are advantages. Like, see, in 3 years, the usage of JNU library was enhanced more than 3,704 percentage. This is amazing. And there are a number of other advantages of these discovery technologies. You can know which resources are used, what are the timings, what are the best timing. So you can plan opening hours of your library also on the basis of statics. Another important skills required is the digitization. See, in every library, there are certain in-house resources, there are certain old resources which you may require to digitize. Like when I joined JNU, I identified news clipping, about 7.5 lakhs news clipping, and more than 22,000 thesis and dissertation. Within 2 years' time, we digitized everything. Theses were digitized in just 6 months' time. And all these things were digitized and electronically available. Like, all theses were put on JNU intranet, thesis and dissertation, all 22,000, and 10,000 PhD theses were given to Sodhganga. At the same time, I also developed a software thesis tracking system in which students used to submit electronic copy of the thesis directly to the library through a software. Even we were not asking them to give a CD or DVDs. I totally stopped accepting print copy of the thesis and dissertations. So everything was automated. So this entire process of in an academic library, like by digitizing all retrospective thesis and also making bond thesis all electronic submission. So ETDs were the another important areas where you need to develop the expertise. And so I have already explained to you that when I joined JNU, there was nothing called plagiarism policy in JNU. I'm able to develop a plagiarism policy for JNU, develop a lot of guidelines. And these news clippings, see, 2 full floors were occupied by the physical news clipping. And none of these news clippings were accessible online when I joined. Now, when I left, 7.8 lakhs news clippings were available online, accessible to the everybody. So I think that is the another areas that whatever you have, you digitize it and make it available. So you need to learn about how to digitize, what are the various kind of digitization parameters, various kind of, like in JNU, we were having a software called Virtua, which is having facility to upload. But if you don't have, you can learn about DSpace, you can learn about Greenstone or ePrint Archive. So there are plenty of areas where you need to develop yourself, you need to reskill yourself in creation of institutional repository. Now, next important thing is that in modern time, you need to have an interactive library portal, because your users encourage users to come to library through portal instead of coming to yourself. I think in current pandemic situation, this is the need of the hour also. So your portal should be very interactive, very modern, and also have each and every information available. Starting from the joining as a library members, you should develop various kind of modules and tools. So your users should have a good library portal, and that was developed by the library. I engaged one library professional who knows Drupal Mr. Shailesh Verma. He's working currently as a librarian in some uh, MP in some college in near Jabalpur. He developed this website in Drupal, and now the JNU library staff is maintaining this website. So this is another development skills for development of portals. Web designing is another skills librarians should learn. This is another area of upskilling. This is another area of reskilling also. Like if you know something, you can upskill yourself. If you don't know, you can learn. This can be a new job for you. Institutional repository. By using DSpace, you can create an institutional repository. Like there was a faculty catalog was also developed. Now coming to the very important and very innovative and very new concept and must concept for every library, particularly for academic and research library. You should develop expertise and create services, research and information support services. You should learn about how to use Grammarly. You should learn about how to use various kind of plagiarism detection tools like Turnitin or Urkund. You should also learn about various kind of reference management tools like Mendeley, EndNote or Zotero. You should also learn various kind of citation software, indexing software. All these things are required to be learned. So you have to develop skills in these areas, and this is most important and most essential in case of academic and research library, university library, college library. You also need to learn about how to create services for the person with visuality, various kind of disabilities. It may be visual disability, it may be cognitive disability, it may be physical disability. So library facilities and services, what kind of softwares are required, what are the resources available, what are the tools required, what are the scanners required. All these things had to be learned the librarian, because this is to make barrier-free campus, barrier-free access to the library. So this is another skills librarian need to learn. Then regular training and like in-house training, sending staff to the various other training program, and also encouraging them in various kind of joining. If they are certificate holder, they should be asked to do B.Liv. If they are B.Liv, they should be asked to do M.Liv. If they are M.Liv, they should be encouraged to do PhD. So you should encourage your colleagues to go for higher education. The one area which I want to devote more time is the information resource discovery, which is combination of many concepts. I think many things I have already covered in last slides, but still I am repeating it because I want to give you some idea. This information resource discovery is the key in the next, because we are moving towards digital age. More 99% of the journals are available electronic. Now we are adding more and more ebooks. So in coming years, it will be less print and more digital. So how to basically develop yourself as a librarian who knows each and everything about information resource discovery. So discovery beyond library, like there are various kind of resources, open access resources, free resources, deep web resources. So you need to develop expertise in that. And end user interface by using mobile technologies, interoperability with the link resolver, local search and retrieval system, like by integrating various kind of indexing discovery system or retrieval component, ability to interact with and communicate with the other libraries and interlibrary loan through internet, not on telephone, not on or mail, but through certain kind of online systems. Access to remote access, link data, gap analysis, research data set, data analytics, altmetrics. All these things are going to be very important. Like there are a number of open source resource discovery tools. Blacklight is one, Viewfind is another, Extensive Catalog is the one, Franklin is another one. There's some commercials also. Primo from XLabs, IPSCO Discovery Services, Summons from Procast, WorldCat from OCLC. So you have various options. So basically what you need to develop, you need to help them in various kind of search. And helping them in internet search is the most important thing, because they are frustrated. When you search on Google, you ask for one reference and you get millions of responses. How to really overcome this information overload? We need to educate the users about nonsense of dev. Like we need to educate about that Google and other standard search engines are not providing access to each and everything. They just index 15 to 20% web content. And also when you search on Google, it never give you a authenticity, its information is fake or disinformation. They also not give you the first result, best result as the first result. So this information overload is confusing people, particularly the new age millennials or screen users, the young generation. They need a lot of guidance. And then most importantly, you need to educate them about the structure of that web. You need to develop skills. What are the different kind of web? Surface web, deep web, dark web. And this deep web, which contains a lot of information, valuable information, and 95% of the deep web is practically publicly accessible, without any subscription. So how to search that deep web? What are various kind of search engines? Semantic search engines, meta search engines like Academic Index, general search engines in databases like Oysters, academic search engines in databases like Google Scholar, scientific search engines in databases like GoPubMed, collaborative information in databases like Delicious, OpenX search engines like Core. So all these, you need to educate yourself. You need to really develop yourself in this area. You need to first learn, and then you need to train the users, your staff, in how to search on deep web. Now, if you have seen in the last recent time, there is a lot of focus on online course contents, OER, Open Education Resources. A lot of MOOC and Moodle initiatives have been taken. So how to develop your understanding of this MOOC and Moodle? This open courseware, open course contents, open educational resources. So really, you need to develop skills in understanding all those platforms, those resources, tools, and also how to really promote these resources to the concerned user. How to take them, how to tell them to make use of these resources. So there are various kind of stakeholders. There's the teachers who are the creator and the user of the information, student who are the user of the information, librarian as a promoter and the facilitator of the information. Then there is a computer people who help in creating platforms. So all these stakeholders have to come together, and librarians have to understand your roles and responsibility in a right manner. Only then you can do full justice in promoting an initiative like NPTEL. So this is another areas where you need to develop yourself. You need to learn about, you need to reskill yourself, you need to upskill yourself. RFID, is it required? Every technology has certain cost. So you should learn about RFID. It is very important technology, very good technology. But you need to make an assessment. Is it required for everybody or not? You need to learn all these open source softwares. So open source tools are very important in coming future. So you need to learn about all those tools and other things. And many times we don't know what are the various kind of open access free digital libraries. NDLI from India, Internet Archive, Hathi Trust, Khan Academy, Global Digital Library, World Digital Library, 20 field free online digital, open lab, many more. So I think this is another area, how to really identify the most authenticated, most open, useful digital library initiatives and connect these initiatives through your users. Reach out, tell them, because a user is not able to differentiate which is the good and authenticated resource digital library. We are talking about Education 4.0. So what is Education 4.0? Anywhere, anytime access, which you have to provide. So you have to learn skill about anytime, anywhere access. You have to personalize information. You have to create personalized information. So you have to focus the target selective dissemination of information through the personalized, flexible delivery. Current users don't need your help in downloading an article or an e-book or an e-journal. They know how to download it. You need to provide them packaged information and through a flexible delivery. Nowadays, students need peers and mentors, and you very well fit in this role of peers and mentors. So you understand your role as a peers and mentors. A student spend less time in classroom, more time in library. So your role as a peers and mentor is more important than a class teacher. Why we are not how? So these questions you have to answer, and your information should be practical application based. You should encourage student ownership. Like wherever I have worked, I have put students as a part of library collection development policy. I have put them as a user of the library. I have put them in various committees. I initiated number of initiatives in IMT Ghaziabad, and similarly in JNU, a student a mutual forum which consists of student and faculty. So there's student ownership to the library, and now we are in the world where more than examination, evaluation is important. So your role as an information evaluator is critical. So according to that, then you have to talk about academic libraries 4.0. Then you have to talk about flexible lifelong learning. You have to focus on imparting lifelong learning skills. You have to develop your services which are student-centric, faculty-centric, and you have to learn use of technology, more interactive technology in current time. Virtual reference services are going to play a key role in this coming future. So how to really provide various kind of virtual reference services using social media tools, using your library portal, using SMS, using mobile technology, using whatever media you choose. You have to provide virtual reference service, and you need to create the concept of subject experts, and these subject experts need not to be librarians only. You can have faculty, you can have researcher as a subject experts associated with the library. You can provide their details. Suppose a PhD student want to have some information on certain topic, ask him to contact that particular expert through online, develop certain kind of instant messaging, instant chatting, or such kind of, you allocate some timings to contact the experts, and those experts should be available, and ask a librarian. FAQs and other things are going to be very important for you. Electronic delivery is very important, particularly in pandemic situation. Like I did an experimentation when I was in JNU. I put a scanner in a computer, and in the faculty reading room. So whenever a faculty was reading some book or a print journal, whenever they want something, they were scanning it and emailing themselves. So it was a free service for the faculty. Similarly, you can think of providing, instead of photocopying machine, provide the such facilities in your reading rooms. So student can scan themselves and email themselves or copy in the pen drive. So that way you will be having less problem of photocopying, and also that way a student can also have, sometimes it also help you in having those turning of pages and other information. So enhance electronic document delivery through various email alert services and various kind of other facilities. And you need to develop special collection for various category of users. It may be, as I mentioned, apart from technology, you also think of having a special collection according to the persons with disabilities. Virtual library tools are very important. You should create videos or multimedia presentations of your library. So users can know about it. They can make use of library facilities. As I mentioned, social media is going to play a very important role in the coming. So instant messaging, RSS feed, streaming media such as podcasting, blogs, wikis, tagging, social bookmarking, mashup, and Facebook, Twitter, Flick, Google, Pinterest, Tumblr, Twitter, they all have certain roles to play in your current librarianship. So you have to understand like which particular social networking tool is useful for which service. So you have to really you make use of social media and libraries. See, you will find on my Facebook page whenever I speak or whenever I something new idea, I put it on my Facebook page. My purpose is to create an awareness among the young professionals and also to encourage them, motivate them. Tell them that if I can do, you can also do it. Why don't you try? And it has great impact on that. I can claim it without any hesitation. This plagiarism awareness, what I have created in India librarianship is the most important example. Once I start talking about this topic and putting on the website, now everywhere, everybody is doing it. So this is the way how to use social media for various facilities. That is a personal example, but we have a lot of services to provide. This I have already explained to you, that research data management is going to be very key in the coming years. So starting from data collection, data documentation, organization of data, sharing of data, how to create various kind of data repository for reshare. Data management is going to play a very important role. So you need to learn. So these are the various kind of reskilling to take up the job of a data librarian: data access management, data anonymization, data audit, data curation, data lifecycle, data privacy, data publishing, data repository, data standards, digital preservation, data stewardship, digital curation, e-research, e-science, open science, e-scholarship, linked open data, metadata, ontology, preservation, provenance, publishing data, repository, resource description framework, district semantic web ontology level. These are some of the more important components which one or other day librarians have to learn, they have to understand. Many of these things are little complicated, little difficult, but I can guarantee you if you try, you can learn. And data and statistical services, maybe SPSS or Excel or R software, all these things you need to learn, and you can educate your users very well, because these are the areas where you can reskill yourself and you can create a lot of good facilities for your users. In the next coming years, research guides and subject gateways are going to play very important role in research domains. So you need to learn how to develop various kind of subject gateways. If you want to see number of libraries have done this job. Altmetrics, like various kind of contributions made on tweets, blogs, Facebook, presentation, Twitters. There are a number of tools, Altmetrics tools. Using that, you can make an assessment, impact assessment of the research. So you should learn about these various kind of Altmetrics tools. So these are the few of my thoughts on various kind of skills required. Now, to conclude, I want to say something. One person cannot learn everything, and one person should not try to learn everything. You should identify an area, 1 area, 2 area, 3 area, maybe 5 area, and develop the expertise in those areas. And whatever expertise you should develop, you should make yourself expert in that, a master in that. Give an example how, and you can motivate your colleagues. Like when I was in JNU, there was my colleague, there are a number of colleagues which I have helped them in learning, but this was Sanjeev Sunny, and I encourage him to expertise in Mendeley software. And today he is one of the Mendeley advisor. He's working in Roorkee, IIT Roorkee. So sometimes you, as a librarian, you need to encourage your colleagues also. Everything you cannot do. Everything it is not possible for a librarian to do yourself. You have to encourage your colleagues and you have to help them in learning. So if you really want to be a smart librarian, if you really want to be a respected librarian, you really want to be a librarian which everybody should respect you, you must focus on these new skills, new technologies, new innovations, and update and upgrade themselves. Reskill yourself, upskill yourself. Only then you can survive, and then you can work in this profession. I'm sure these my suggestions may be helpful in learning you. And with this, I want to thank all the resources which I have used in this presentation. And my email IDs are here, and I'll be happy to answer questions right now. Or if you have any question, you can contact me later on my email IDs. So with this, I will just stop share my screen, and I will come on the platform to interact with you. And if you have any questions, I will be happy to answer. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much, Dr. Ramesh Gaur, sir, for making this excellent presentation on the most relevant topic, upskilling and reskilling of libraries for the development of smart libraries in digital age. Upskilling and reskilling process are very important. Upskilling and reskilling process are very important for LIS professional to survive in present scenario. We are thankful to you, sir, for giving such a knowledgeable and rich talk. I'm sure that all library friends and researcher will be benefited immensely. Thanks to all the participants and thanks to Meghna and his team for the support. Tomorrow we'll meet again with two eminent LIS professionals from India and abroad. Dr. Dilara Begum, Professor East West University, Bangladesh, and Mr. Jitan Sharma, Senior Librarian, Jaipuria Institute of Management, will deliver lecture on tomorrow. So once again, thanks to you all for joining this international lecture. Thanks, sir.
Rajesh, any questions you want to take up, or?
Yes, sir.
Rajesh, would you like to take up some questions? There's some questions people are asking about the PPT. I'll be happy to share my PPTs to all the participants. If they wish to receive it, I will email it to you. You can send it to them, or they can write to me. I will forward them PDF file of the presentation. Or
few participants have requested for the presentation, sir.
Okay. So you have any question, or shall I we'll close it here?
Include, sir.
Okay, then thank you very much. All the best. Take care. Okay, bye bye.
Thanks, sir. Bye.